Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're getting hands-on with the Nicolet EDX system. This is your quick start guide. We're going to go from all the components sitting in a box to running your very first nerve conduction study. We'll focus on the must-know connections and the first few software steps to get you up and running with confidence.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the basic workflow philosophy. Then we'll physically connect all the hardware, piece by piece. After that, we'll take a quick tour of the main ports and controls. And finally, we'll fire up the software and run our very first test together. Let's dive right in.
First up, let's talk about the big idea behind this quick start. The whole system is really designed to be straightforward and to get you feeling comfortable right from the get-go.
Look, the goal is to get you from point A to point B as smoothly as possible, and it all boils down to a really simple 5-step workflow. You connect everything, power on the system, enter the patient info, run your test, and then you finish. That's it. That's the core loop. Everything we're about to do fits right into one of those steps.
All right, let's get our hands dirty with step 1, connecting the system. Getting all these physical cables in the right place is, the foundation for everything else we're going to do.
So, there are just 4 main connections we need to make to get this thing humming. We'll hook the base unit up to power and the PC, plug in the amplifier, connect the stimulator probe, and then get our controls, the panel and foot switch, all set up.
Okay, first things first, let's look at the back of the base unit. You've got your USB cable that goes right into the computer. That's your data highway. Then the main power cord plugs into a medical-grade outlet. And you really want to use one of those because it gives you a clean, stable power supply, which is absolutely crucial for getting good, clean measurements. And just like that, power and data are sorted.
Next up, the amplifier. This little box is the hero that actually captures all those important physiological signals from your patient. The cable coming from the A2 amplifier plugs right into the port clearly labeled amplifier on the back of the base unit. Nice and simple.
All right, let's swing around to the front of the unit. This is where you'll plug in the stimulator probe, right into that main IES1 port. This is where the magic happens, where the stimulus comes from. And then, back on the rear panel, the foot switch gets its own special port. And trust me, that foot switch is a lifesaver for keeping your hands free during a test.
Now that we're all plugged in, let's just take a second for a quick tour of the ports we've just been using. Getting familiar with the layout of this base unit is going to make your setup process second nature.
Think of this as your cheat sheet for the rear panel. You can see all the key players we just connected. The USB for the computer link, the main amplifier port, the foot switch connection, and the port for the Viking control panel. For most of your standard studies, these are the ports you're going to live in.
And the front panel, way simpler, which is great, right? This is the business end, where you'll be interacting the most. You've got your main stimulator output, IES1, a backup one just in case you need it, and of course the big power button to bring it all to life.
Okay, let's shift gears and look at the hardware that makes direct contact with the patient. We're talking about the amplifier and that all-important stimulator probe.
So you'll likely have one of 2 flavors of amplifier. The standard AT2 is your daily driver, your workhorse for most NCS and MEG studies. Then you have the AT2 plus 6. It adds 6 more channels and a connector for a headbox, which is what you'd need for more complex tests like evoked potentials. Both have a handy blue LED to show they're powered on, and a green one that tells you when a channel is active and acquiring data.
Now this Comfort Probe Plus, it's not just a probe, it's basically mission control right in the palm of your hand. The wheel is your main control. You rotate it to dial the intensity up or down, and then you just press it to deliver the stimulus. But you can also tweak the stimulus duration, jump to the next trace, and even flip the polarity, all without ever looking away from the patient.
Hardware? Check. Now it's time to bring this system to life. Let's power everything on and walk through those first few clicks inside the software that get us ready to roll.
Okay, the sequence here is super logical. First, hit that power button on the front of the base unit, then turn on your computer. Find the Viking software icon on your desktop. Give that a double click. Once it's loaded, you'll click New Patient. You only have to fill in the 3 yellow fields: patient ID, last name, and first name. Hit OK, and that's it. You're in. You're ready to pick a test.
Think of the software's homepage as your command center. You can manage all your patient files from here, pull up old reports, tweak settings, but for us, right now, for this quick start, that big New Patient button is our main entry point. It's the gateway to every new exam.
So, we've connected all the hardware. We've prepped the software. The stage is set. Everything is talking to each other. So, are you ready to actually see this thing in action? Let's go get some data.
All right, this is the moment we've been building towards. Let's go ahead and select and run our very first test, a classic motor nerve conduction study, or what you'll see called an MNC.
Now, this system is incredibly powerful, but honestly, most of your work is going to fall into these three big buckets. For today, we are laser-focused on the motor NCS. That's where we stimulate a nerve and then listen for the response from a muscle it controls. It's a foundational test, and it's the perfect place for us to start.
Okay, so you're on the Select Test screen. All you do is click the side you want, left or right, then click the nerve. Double-click on MNC, and bam, you're in the test screen. Now you just grab your comfort probe, get it in position, and slowly rotate that wheel to bring up the stimulus. When you see a good muscle twitch, press the wheel to fire and record. Got a good waveform? Awesome. Just hit the next button, and you're on to the next site. It's a really smooth and intuitive flow. And just like that, we've come full circle, right back to where we started. You see how every single thing we did, from plugging in that first cable to capturing a real waveform, fits perfectly into that simple 5-step loop. Connect, power on, patient, test, and finish. If you can remember that workflow, you've honestly mastered the fundamentals of this entire system.